Fu Critic.
Why the King Critic this time? The King Critic is for kidnapper and sometimes karate. Glad to see you back, folks. We're going to be covering the film Edge of Fury, starring Bruce Lee. Nope, not that one. Sorry. Yeah, that's the right one. We're covering one of the many Bruce Lee clone films. As some may know, after Bruce Lee passed in the 70s, he was still extremely popular. So popular that a lot of producers felt that it was necessary to go out and find a man who looks close enough like Bruce Lee and fiddle with the names a little bit just to make sure that everybody believes, it's Bruce, he's back, and he's making movies. Now, a few of these films came out and are actually pretty well done, and a few came out and were poorly handled and were god-awfully cheap. Is this a good film? Do we have a good clone? Well, first let's look at the cast and then we'll hop to the film. Our hero, Ah Fong. Actor, Bruce Lee. That's with an L-I, folks. Our evil Mr. King. Actor, Yasuki Kurata. And our evil rich wife, actress Michelle Yeoh. That's our compact cast. Let's see how Bruce Lee does. Our film begins with a couple beautiful shots of Hong Kong. Busy, new, on the build. Hong Kong's a place to be. After this, we get introduced to our hero, Ah Fong, Bruce Lee, L.I. Apparently, he's a chauffeur for a very rich, well-to-do businessman and his family. We also get introduced to a little rugrat of the businessman. And we also get this disturbing sound effect noise for these frisbees. Oh! Yeah, that's messed up. Apparently it's supposed to make it sound edgy, I don't know. As we continue, we find out that Ah Fong has a great relationship with the little lad. Yeah, it's a boy, I had to wait to find out. As they continue playing and romping and having a wonderful time, he's waiting to go and pick up his boss. But his boss has been captured. Apparently he was dealing in drugs. Ah Fong doesn't believe this. That's a lie. The rich mistress comes home, the wife of the businessman. She goes into the house and finds it full of police. What's going on here? Ma'am, your husband was selling drugs, and we need to talk to you. We also need to talk to your chauffeur here. Ah Fong is brought down to the police station, and he is grilled over any information he may have about the drugs. He says, I don't know anything. I'm an honest man, and I'm just a chauffeur. That's all I do. He says he doesn't believe it. His boss is a good man who treated him kindly and helped him when he had to take care of his poor ailing mother. After this point, the police say, all right, we don't have anything on you. We're the police. We trust you. You can go. As he leaves, he is quickly taken back to the house where the master lives to comfort the poor young lad who has now temporarily lost his father to the police in a different country. He says, hey, let's go have fun at the water world. As they go, we get this uber campy element of him having fun, look at the dolphins, fly the helicopter, and oh my god, he's getting the crap beat out of him with bats. He's thrown into a car, taken to a cargo shipping yard, and meets an old friend? But not anymore. A good fight sequence ensues here, decent, semi-fast, not a lot of cuts. Definitely has a few hallmarks that this Bruce Lee clone is decent when it comes to a fight. Not up to the man he's trying to represent, but he's still pretty darn good. We then follow our baddies where we're beating up on Ah Fong to the real baddie, Mr. King. God, they could not have picked a more generic name. Apparently, he wants to know where the drugs are that Ah Fong's boss supposedly had and hid. Ah Fong still doesn't believe this, but Mr. King says we must get to the bottom of this and figure out where they have been hidden. Ah Fong returns to the house, finds out that rich, lovely young wife here doesn't want to pay any money to help support her husband and extradite him out of the country back to China. A little bit suspicious if you ask me. Ah Fong says, I believe in my boss. And why is that? We go to a flashback where he's getting beaten up because he's not able to pay back some loan sharks. We see that his boss was a good man. He gave him the money he needed to pay off the loan sharks and to help his poor ailing mother. When we come back to present day, Ah Fong returns to his mother, who is so dismayed, saying, are you sure he wasn't a bad man? Ah Fong says he's not. I know this man, and he is not that type of person to sell drugs. Ah Fong is conflicted. Eventually they decide to leave Hong Kong and go to the outskirts to live in peace. After this point, we get another flashback showing that Ah Fong was given a very important letter from his boss before he left the country. Give this to my lawyer in case something unfortunate should happen to me. Ah Fong is confused and conflicted, tries to give it to the lawyer, but the rich wife says, give it to me right now. She tries to pay him off for the letter. He still won't do it. What's so important about this letter? It has the will of the man who's going to be put into jail and executed. This is very important information. Ah Fong feels it's his duty to pass it along. He gives it to a third party that he feels he can trust. The third party, of course, immediately goes back to the rich wife and says, here's what the will says. You get $2 million. Everything else, his businesses and all of his other dealings, go everywhere else. We get a few comedic scenes added in here as well. For example, the rich wife now playing with her new boy toy. I love the shower scene. You can clearly see that they're wearing bathing suits. Then we get two abrupt cuts. Apparently they had sex. There you go. After this, they get caught kissing on the stairs. Ooh la la. Our young man walks in and says, what were you doing? The mom says, we were just talking. To which he responds, now I want to get this right.
Damned hell you were.
Like damn hell you were. Good lad. After this point, he uses his kung fu he's been taught by Ah Fong to take care of the two bumbling adults. Again, really comedic, over the top, very funny. I like how the frisbee's used, and he's quite agile rolling under that car. Very funny, okay. After this, Ah Fong returns to the house. Once he's back, he sees the rich wife and her boy toy fooling around like crazy. It's obvious that they've looked over and saw that Ah Fong is there, but it's almost like they're trying to live it up on purpose. Fooling around like crazy, Ah Fong gets mad, beats up the boy toy, and then leaves. After this, our plot gets back to Mr. King. Mr. King is, what? Looking for drugs. He can't find them. He knows they must be somewhere, but the man he wants to ask just got shot in another country. So he believes that Ah Fong knows where it is. He gives him a job, gives him money, says, come on, tell me where the drugs are. He says, I don't know. He says, just to let you know, we kidnapped your girlfriend, and if you don't tell us, we're going to kill her. He now desperately needs to find these drugs. He bluffs, says, I'll find it, goes back to the house, rummages around, and memory sequence. I remember this old broken down house. It must be there. Bum, bum, bum. He leaves the rich wife, who meets a rather odd end, trying to use her womanly wiles of her body to find out more information from a third party. Eventually stabs him and then stabs herself. Smart? Anyways, Ah Fong finds the abandoned house, finds the bricks of drugs, and we get a good fight sequence here all over the place, up and down these stairs of this abandoned building. Again, the fight sequence in this film aren't too bad. They're pretty well done. I always judge by how many cuts they had to do in order to make it more epic, and he does a pretty good job. As far as clones go, I'm going to give him a solid pass. He did a good job. The plot of this story and the rest of the cast is pretty tepid. I wouldn't give it that high of a rating if you're going to just watch the film itself. But if you want to see a good Bruce Lee clone that has some good action sequences with a decent ending, I would recommend it. Thanks for watching. I'm glad you enjoyed the review, and I hope to see you again. Thank you. Everybody's favorite spot.
Everybody wants to see a brawl. Somebody's got to stand, somebody's got to fall. 1, 2, 3 in the bell ain't the call. It's on Kung Fu, it's a fight, not a